We all get to make these choices. You can choose God or you can choose the devil. The Knights Templars didn't believe in heaven or hell. They believed in oneness and unity. Once that switches on, through your spinal column, your magic wand, you can access the different Stargate networks and become an eternal being. You become unwithable, unshakable. I remember battling with the churches, battling with the priests. Sometimes those battles didn't go very well. So we are souls in these physical bodies. And most of us on Earth have had multiple experiences on this planet. Most of us have had experiences on multiple other planets, stars, through different dimensional spaces. We have the ability and the potential to tap into our past life experiences, to bring knowledge into this now space, to help us grow, to help us to expand, to help us weave and navigate our way through this human reality. I remember so many of my past lives. I've been into hundreds of them, because when I started my spiritual journey, that's exactly what I did. When I first started my journey, I was fortunate enough to have an incredible teacher. I found a beautiful human who could regress me into multiple past life experiences until it became the norm. And I started accessing these past lives 24/7, 365 at the drop of a hat, just like that. The Knights Templars have been discussed throughout the ages. I remember being a Knights Templar in so many realities, and I can remember battling with the church. I can remember having encounters with the priesthood in caves, in churches, in temples, out on the open road on horseback, where there were many different battles and encounters that were dangerous. But what we did as Knights Templars is we found the Holy Grail. And the Holy Grail isn't what you may think it is, but I want to share with you and help you discover the Holy Grail within your own energetic template, so you can step fully into your superhuman potential. The reason that we had these encounters and these battles is because the Knights Templars were playing with energy. They were playing with frequency, and they were remembering how to ignite the Holy Grail within themselves and within their fellow sisters and brothers. And obviously the church did not want the Holy Grail to be found. So what is this Holy Grail? And where does this Holy Grail come from? And how can you even find this Holy Grail? Well, the Holy Grail isn't a physical object. The Holy Grail is an intertwining of frequency, an intertwining of energy. Now, when you look at the Kundalini, which is a frequency that we can bring forth through various pieces of meditation, breath work, focused intent, we can activate our Kundalini energy. Now, when you see the Kundalini energy, it looks like two spirals coming up from the perineum, spiraling up and through the pineal gland and into the brain. But that's a trick. The Kundalini is not two frequencies. The two frequencies represent duality. The Holy Grail is the merging of the masculine and the feminine, where the masculine and the feminine come into one grail line. The Holy Grail is one grail line, one frequency, one stream of consciousness, one electrical frequency that streams up from the Kundalini, up from those Genesis cells, which is the Merkaba field down in the perineum. The 8 cells that are formed 49 days after conception. 9 and 4 is 13, the number of the divine goddess. Also, dimethyltryptamine appears 49 days after conception. This number 13 is the key and the code to access so many levels and layers of our multidimensional architecture. But this Kundalini frequency, this electrical energy that flows up from the Kundalini, up from the Genesis cells, the egg of the Kundalini, another name that's given to it. This electrical energy that flows up is supported by the divine feminine. The masculine is supported by the divine feminine. Without the feminine, the masculine can't thrive. Also, without the masculine, the feminine can't thrive. Now, whether you're in a relationship as two beings, bringing the masculine and the feminine together, or you're in a relationship on your own, where you're bringing the masculine and the feminine together within your own architecture, you can activate that Kundalini frequency. The reason that the Knights Templars were fighting against the church, that were fighting against the popes and the priests, is because the priests and the popes and the church wanted everybody to believe in heaven and hell, or heaven or hell. Now, when you believe in heaven or hell, which don't really exist, they're different frequencies. The heaven and the hell were the polar opposites. And it doesn't matter whether you believe in this or that, as long as there's separation. So whether you're going to be sent to heaven for being a good boy or a good girl, or sent to hell for being a bad boy or a bad girl, there's still belief systems. It's still creating that polarity, that duality, and that separation. The Knights Templars didn't believe in heaven or hell. They believed in oneness and unity, and they knew that the Holy Grail, the masculine and the feminine, alchemizing in the 0 point, was the way to completely dissolve the constructs of heaven or hell, because heaven or hell only exist in that dualistic framework. When you become one, there is no heaven or hell. Now, you can choose heaven or hell, or you can choose oneness, unity. We all get to make these choices. You can choose God, or you can choose the devil. You can choose hot or cold. But hot and cold don't really exist either, because if you want to experience true hotness, true heat, if you want to experience true coldness, true cold, then you become the heat or you become the cold. And then you get to experience it. And when you become it, you realize that it doesn't really exist and it doesn't actually burn you. It only burns you when you're separate from it. And so what we have to do as beings is to become that which we want to influence, that which we want to have an effect on, that which we want to be and experience and become and have true mastery over. Not because we want to control it for the wrong reasons, but because we want to become it so we can influence it and experience it for positive reasons. Like an alchemist or an architect who wants to control the wind, an alchemist or an architect who wants to control the water. We all have this power. Jesus wasn't really resurrected. The reason he wasn't resurrected is because he didn't really die. He wasn't crucified. What was crucified was Christ consciousness. And what was resurrected was Christ consciousness. Now, Earth used to be a Christed planet, but it fell in consciousness and it went into this third dimensional space. And the reason that we're here as a humanity, as Jedis, as galactic gangsters from outer space coming back to Earth, extraterrestrial beings in these human forms, is to help resurrect the Christ consciousness. Now, when that Kundalini rises up from the Genesis cells, spiraling through and around the spinal column up into the brain, the pineal gland switches back on. That's the real resurrection. That diamond spark igniting in the heart, that diamond light igniting in the brain, the third door in Solomon's temple, the right brain opening, and us reconnecting with the majestic components, that feminine right brain that gives us access to billions of bits of data plus per second, instead of riding the timeline on this left brain that processes minimal bits of data per second, that reads between the lines and stacks things on shelves and reads in boxes, which conforms to society's norms. The right brain, you can't put the right brain in a box. So when you activate that Kundalini energy and the feminine supports the masculine electrical flowing up through the body and activates that dimethyltryptamine in the brain, and all of those billions of chemicals come alive, we start to realize and access the truth. And we switch on that Holy Grail and we step into our superhuman potential. And every single human on planet Earth has this potential. And once that switches on through your spinal column, your magic wand, you can access the different Stargate networks. You can activate those energy centers in every single vital organ. And you can truly reverse the aging process and become an eternal being. You become uncontrollable. You become unfuckwithable, unshakable. You step outside of the game and you look back in from the God worlds, back into our 15th dimensional time matrix. And you realize what a cosmic joke is. And then we start to set the record straight, because we realize that fear and love are both choices, and we choose the love end of the spectrum. And when we connect with that diamond spark in our hearts, which gives us access to source, to the God worlds, we activate that multi-dimensional Merkaba field, which plugs into the 12-pointed star, that multi-dimensional Merkaba field around our physical architecture. And we change the vibrations from that Merkaba field that most people are operating with, the 2 tetrahedrons. Some people call the star tetrahedron. That can only take us so far. If you want to exit the matrix, you've got to get your multi-dimensional Merkaba field fired up, because those 12 points link into the 12 strands of your DNA. And when those 12 points spin, they create a beautiful sphere, which is the number 13, which plugs into the heart, and then you're straight into the God worlds, straight to source, boom. This is mathematical restructuring, re-engineering of consciousness. This is what we share at starmagichealing.org. This is why we're here on the planet, to help people re-engineer their mathematics, to switch back to the original codex, so we become the Stargate Guardians, the custodians that we came to planet Earth to be. Those powerful emerald beings with that emerald architecture, that blue sapphire pineal gland, that ruby red light flowing inside that blue sapphire spiral, inside the diamond heart, with that golden crystal Kundalini spiral flowing from the Earth star to the stellar gateway, from the Alpha to the Omega. This is where it's at. If you truly want to re-engineer your own architecture and step into your superhuman potential, you got to go through the gateway in your heart. You got to switch on that multi-dimensional Merkaba field, exit through the Aramatena gateway into the God worlds, and plug back into source, beautiful soul. There's no other way out of this game, and it's not hard. It's just that we've never been taught it. It's been covered and buried on purpose, because they know when we discover this magic, this alchemy, that will be uncontrollable. And many of us are starting to wake up. Now I'm sharing it with you. What are you going to do with the information? Sit on the bleachers watching everybody else get involved in the game, or are you going to dive off the bleachers and say, I want a piece of this. I want to remember my full power. I want to step into my superhuman potential, switch on my Merkaba field, activate my pineal gland, get that Kundalini energy flowing, activate those billions of chemicals, and allow my body to do what it does best. Regenerate, self-heal, become eternal. I love you so much. We're a family. We're sisters and brothers on this magical planet. And I want to help you step into your power, so you know who and what you are at the core of your being. Multi-dimensional. A lion, a lioness, a spiritual gangster that makes up the rules of life and plays your own human game. Exactly the way you want to play it. This is where it's at. So go over to starmagichealing.org right now. Join Infinity. You get access right now for 7 days free to so many ascension tools, the best ascension tools on earth. Hundreds of meditations, light language transmissions, cosmic yoga videos, nutrition, mystery school teachings, private Telegram groups so you can connect with beautiful souls on the same ascension mission as you. People that want to make the world a better place. Gangsters, just like you. Go and check it out. And if you want to remember how to heal people rapidly and effectively, join our level 1 facilitated training. I'll see you again real soon. Shine your light, speak your truth, and stop giving a flying you know what. And let's have a little bit of fun. I'll see you soon. One love, one heart, one human family. Peace out, beautiful soul.